Hi, Zed Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert. So let's have a little look at the hormones which affect bone health in different ways. They can be helping you build bone, or they could be doing the opposite. And there are 10 hormones which actually do have some kind of effect on your bone health. So let's have a little look at those. Let's start with growth hormone, as we call it, human growth hormone. Now, this drives the growth of bone until your adult size is reached, so your height is reached, okay? So this typically is until you're about the age of 16, 17, 18. We ladies tend to be shorter, so our growth spurt, if you like, stops a little bit earlier than the boys, okay? But this is driven by human growth hormone, very important. Then we have a hormone called Parathyroid Hormones Pth. Now, parathyroid hormone is the hormone produced from the little parathyroid glands, which are on the back of your thyroid. So they work together with a hormone which is also produced in your thyroid, which is called calcitonin. We'll look at that one in a minute. But this hormone, Pth, promotes the number and the activity of the osteoblasts. So remember, B for build, we like blasts, okay? So the Pth is going to promote the number, increase the activity of osteoblasts. So we like this, we would like to have this, but if we get too much of it, it becomes a bit negative, but we like Pth initially. Then we have obviously the hormone estrogen. So estrogen is really, really important, and until the end of puberty, estrogens are needed for maturation of bone tissue or skeleton in both men or boys and girls. Yeah, so it's not just girls here, but the boys need it as well. So this is why it's very important with estrogen levels with the girls. So if we're skinny girls, or if we want to be photo models, or if we're very sporty and got low fat percentages, your estrogen production is going to be lower. And you know this because you're maybe not be menstruating as you should. So that will be an indication of low estrogen. So remember I said you want this is a peak bone density somewhere around the age of 18 to 25. You need your estrogen for this, ladies. So if you are a skinny one, whatever reason that might be, you possibly are going to end up having a lower bone peak density by the time you get to about 25, where that's it, that's what you got for the rest of life kind of thing. Okay, so be very aware of the powers of estrogen and the powers of those fat cells. And I'm not saying you need to be overweight and have lots of fat cells, but you need to have possibly a little bit more. So if you are a low BMI, under 19, for example, you need to build that up a little bit. You ideally, at the beginning of the 20s, I would say your BMI would be the best place to be. So estrogens are wonderful because they increase osteoblast activity, so the B for building, and they also induce something called apoptosis in the osteoclasts, which causes them to self-destruct, basically. So they control the breakdown of bone by killing off the cells, basically, and they encourage the building of the bone because they stimulate the osteoblast production. So it's an amazing hormone. And until 2002, it was the treatment of choice for ladies' bone health after menopause. So if you're getting around menopausal times, ladies, I do encourage you to look into the benefits of using estrogen as a replacement therapy. Start supporting the estrogen maybe already from the middle of the 40s and keep on going, I'd say, way 70, 80, 90s until you die, basically. We want strong bones for the rest of our lives, don't we, really? And strong everything else, which estrogen helps with. So have a little look at some of my former blogs about estrogen and articles on my webpage as well about it. So testosterone is another lovely little hormone because it inhibits osteoclast activity. So it's going to stop the little breakdown cells, okay? So for ladies, this could be a powerful hormone replacement therapy after menopause. And the good thing about testosterone is, for us ladies, it converts to estrogen. So we end up maybe getting a little bit more estrogen because we're using the testosterone. So if it says testosterone or if it's the estrogen, makes no difference. It's just good for bone health. And it's important for the boys. So maintaining their testosterone levels is something they should also focus on. Replacing testosterone is not quite as easy with the boys because they will also convert it to estrogen and they do not want estrogen. so there could be other things that need to be looked at with the boys there. But it's definitely important for bone health. So then I said there was the calcitonin. So calcitonin is produced in the thyroid, and together with the hormone called thyroid stimulating hormone, which comes from the pituitary, tells the thyroid to produce its hormone. But these two hormones, calcitonin and TSH, actually inhibit the osteoclasts. So again, we are controlling the breakdown of bone. So as you move towards menopause, ladies, you need to get your thyroid checked, because many ladies do suffer from a lower functioning thyroid as they move towards menopause and after. And if you do have a lower functioning thyroid, this is also going to be negative related to your bone health. So there's lots of things. Obviously, you may be putting on a little bit more weight and that kind of thing. But for bone health, it's really important that your thyroid functions properly. Yeah, so get that checked. Yes. Then we've got a hormone called calcitriol. So calcitriol is actually the hormone version of vitamin D3, and that is essential for depositing calcium into the bones. Then there's a hormone called osteoprotogerin, and this is a protein which is produced and secreted from osteoblasts. So they're producing this hormone, and that will inhibit the production and activity of the osteoclasts. So the osteoblasts have the ability to control the osteoclasts. It's amazing. So we just have to make sure we're producing these hormones. Leptin. So everyone knows leptin as being the satiety hormone, but it also has an effect on these cells. So it's going to regulate the balance between osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Okay, so we have a balance. Remember, we need some breakdown to make room for new, but we don't want too many osteoclasts and too little osteoblasts, because then we're not going to be rebuilding quick enough. Serotonin. Ooh, this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because serotonin we think of being sort of the happy hormone, and the gut hormone as well, obviously, because it's very important for the movement of the gut and it's very important for the mood. Ooh, so it's also shown to suppress osteoblast activity in mice. But we do know that people taking long-term taking of SSRIs, so selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, so the Prozac type pills. So if you're taking this for your mood long term, we do see a lower bone density in these people. So I think it's probably not just in the mice where serotonin is suppressing the osteoblasts. So if you are taking this medication, have a word with your doc. Can you wean yourself off it, or can you have another medication possibly? Because it could be affecting your bone density. At the very least, get your bone density checked. And then last one on the list, possibly one of the most important, is cortisol. So cortisol is what we call the stress hormone, which is very unfortunate because it's not. It's trying to help you get through whatever is stressing you. But related to your bone health, this hormone increases osteoclast activity. It blocks osteoblast activity, so it's going to block you building, and it's going to block calcium absorption into the bone. And then the last little thing it does, not so little, it breaks down collagen. So cortisol is your enemy number one related to bone health. And as we age and we lose our estrogen levels, ladies, as we go through menopause, you don't cope with your stress as well, the things that are stressing you, you're possibly producing more cortisol, which is aiding and abetting your breakdown of bone. So that is an area that really needs to have a lot of focus, that you decrease your need for cortisol. So was that interesting? I thought that was enormously interesting. So 10 little hormones are affecting your bone health. Happy hormones, happy life.